స్మిత జనరల్గా సినిమా యాక్టర్లకి టైటిల్స్ ఇస్తారు, మెగాస్టార్,
ఓకే,
సూపర్ స్టార్. ఐ థింక్ బ్యూరోక్రసీలో మొత్తం ఐ థింక్ యు ఆర్ ద ఫస్ట్ ఆఫీసర్ హూ గాట్ అ పీపుల్స్ ఆఫీసర్. హౌ డస్ ఇట్ మేక్ యూ ఫీల్?
Great sense of responsibility. Sometimes you always question whether you're doing enough to deserve any title. Of course, this is it. I think this originated when I was a district collector long back. I am Karimnagar.
Yeah.
And then Medak, and maybe Warangal also little bit time I was in the field. So these titles originated then. I'm trying still very hard to keep up, and not disappoint the people who with so much pride gave me that honor. So to me, it's a sense of honor. It's a sense of pride. In some of the down moments when you're questioning whether it's all worth it, these are those little things which remind you that people trust you.
Yeah.
People they adore you for certain qualities that you bring to the job, and you must keep going.
సో స్మిత, ఇఫ్ యూ రిమెంబర్ 14 years బ్యాక్ మనం ఫస్ట్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ చేసినప్పుడు అప్పుడే అవుట్లుక్ మ్యాగజైన్లో మీ ఆ ఫోటో రావడం, ఆ కామెంట్, దాని మీద మనం వీ హ్యాడ్ అ వెరీ 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 ఇంపార్టెంట్ కాన్వర్జేషన్ అండ్ డిస్కషన్ ఆన్ దాట్ యాజ్ టు హౌ విమెన్ ఆర్ టార్గెటెడ్. చాలా ఈజీ, ఒక విమెన్ ఒక మాట అనేసి అట్లా వదిలేయటం అనేది చాలా సింపుల్. సో బీయింగ్ ఇన్ పవర్ ఫర్ సచ్ లాంగ్ టైమ్, ఇప్పుడు ఐ థింక్ 25 years ఇఫ్ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ రాంగ్.
24, yeah.
ఎప్పుడైనా బీయింగ్ అ ఉమెన్ and that too a woman in power, was it a problem when you were actually dealing or tackling or handling your job?
Well, if I go back and try to trace the journey, when we were very young, when we started out as freshly recruited fellows and from the academy, and being a woman then was a sense of I would say it was a great advantage, because when you went to the villages, you interacted with people, they automatically connect with a woman in authority. We were sub-collectors, we were joint collectors, and definitely I would see a lot more connection on the field when I would go to the villages. I think they feel that a woman carries a sense of empathy with her, and in the early years I truly enjoyed the fact that I was an IAS officer and a woman.
Yeah.
And that gave me a little extra edge to be able to connect and for people to come back and relate their narratives. Some would just come to say thank you for some small thing that you have done, and I always believed that they look up to you or they treat you as somebody, as part of the family, maybe a mother, a sister, a friend or whatever. Yes, as the career progression grew, I suddenly realized it was not a very, welcoming world where a sense of power is perceived around a woman. And that power comes from her achievements, not because of any other perception, but the fact that she is known to be somebody who delivers, somebody who knows her mind, somebody who's quite strong internally and doesn't need the validation of the whole world to get her to do her job. That is viewed as a threat. And honestly speaking, till I was a pretty quite a delusional character for a long time, I didn't really believe that anybody thinks that way. But then slowly I realized with time that yes, there is definitely a sense of threat which a powerful woman gives out. And it could be it's not about men or women. She is an entity who is viewed as somebody who could be a threat. And with that comes a lot of emotions from the other side. It could be from your official side, it could be your seniors, it could be your subordinates. Subordinates, no. In fact, I have always enjoyed extremely good equations with my subordinates. But I think in the hierarchy, it is sometimes a disadvantage. And you start questioning, then you don't want to shine so much. You want to kind of take the back seat. And you realize that nothing really works. They will still try to get at you. They will still try to get at you. So that only time and life teaches you. And then I think you come into your own. Then you become unapologetic about it. So yeah, I am right now in that stage where I discovered my true power, as you say, the power. And I believe that it's something I'm born with. So I'm not going to shine a little less or be myself a little less just because it threatens you or it threatens your sense of existence. So I bring to the table a great sense of competency, a great field experience of 24 odd years in public service. There are very few bureaucrats in the country today who have the varied experience that I carry. I have worked as municipal commissioner, fledgling towns, and today they look like cities. I have carried good initiatives in the district as collector, where sometimes you just get bogged down by a regulatory framework. And I have the pride of those years behind me. So I am very unapologetic about what I am today, thanks to the people and thanks to their love. So I try and own up the people's officer.
అయితే స్మిత జనరల్గా యాజ్ విమెన్ మనకు ఒక ఇన్నేట్ క్వాలిటీ ఉంటుంది. అదేంటంటే మీరు ఇందాక అన్నట్టు ఒక ఎంపతి, ఒక కన్సర్న్.
ఎంపతి, ఎస్.
వి ఆర్ లిటిల్ ఇమోషనల్. దో మనం ఎంత పవర్ఫుల్ పొజిషన్లో ఉన్నా దట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ కేర్, కన్సర్న్, ఎంపతి, ఎమోషన్ దట్ సమ్టైమ్స్ డామినేట్స్. అండ్ ఎప్పుడైనా డిడ్ దట్ పుల్ యూ డౌన్? అంటే వే యూ టియరింగ్ అప్ వెన్ సర్టన్ థింగ్స్ హ్యాపెన్ టు యూ విచ్ were not in your control?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, as we grew in the hierarchy, grew in our service, there were certain experiences which taught me that, like I said, that, that you are a threat. That's when also I reminded myself that because you are giving them that sense of having arrived, therefore that threat is coming, or therefore that attack is coming, or therefore that little, slander is coming to your way. So I think I'm very good at, prepping my own brain. So I would remind myself that because you're important, therefore they are talking about you. If you don't matter, possibly they wouldn't. And it really doesn't matter. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's just a little bit of a growing up. I think, we are of the same age almost. And you will agree with me that even in the media, you must have undergone a lot of initial struggles. And then the stereotypes are broken. After that, it doesn't really matter to you what people think, because your sense of purpose and your sense of contribution is much bigger than what the world wants you to be. See, the good people out there, at large, what I call the universal goodness is what always keeps, the truth alive. It keeps our efforts alive. It makes our work, worth it. And the rest of it is just doesn't matter.
Do you remember in your entire...
But yes, sometimes you're right. I mean, I'll not mince words here. The male ego is the male ego, whether, it is a work sphere or, in general in the world. And there's certain very patriarchal stereotypes, which is part of every society, not just ours, every society. So for women to constantly fight and push those boundaries, that is the process. That is the journey. Today I may be doing little bit, you are doing your little bit. Our mothers and grandmoms did much more than us. In fact, because of their sacrifices, today we are able to sit and have this conversation.
True.
So I think in every decade, in every generation, these mindsets have, been there. Let's not think for one moment that they did not exist in the past or they will not exist in the future. It's a very natural human, equation. So women have to constantly prove themselves in a man's world.